Good morning, Megan.
Morning, Neil.
On time as well. Blimey, it's that 4 days of the trot. You may get a gold star sent up to Liverpool.
I'm on a roll.
Right, welcome everyone. Some new people on here. Welcome anyway. We'll quickly go into yesterday. I know we did a Zoom yesterday on what's it called? The new word, the Jay and Jellen, is it? Chat, who are again talking again. Bianca, a little test for you. What time are they speaking today? As you got
4 o'clock.
Yesterday. Sorry?
4 o'clock?
No.
Oh,
2 o'clock.
2
2
o'clock.
o'clock.
Yeah.
what time is it, Neil?
2 o'clock. That's when the little hand is on the 2 and the big hand is on the 12. Yeah.
I thought it was at 4 o'clock again today.
I think the first day, Monday, was 1 o'clock. Yesterday was 4 o'clock. And today's 2 o'clock. We'll go through it anyway because those of you who were on our Zoom yesterday, you've realised how boring it was, and we realised that each cabinet minister has a 4-minute chat, and then Powell and Yellen have a 5-minute say in what's going on in the US and going forward. And that carried on, although we curtailed it after, I think, an hour because I was falling asleep and he basically said nothing untowards. He then came out right at the end, just after 4:30, I think it was, and mentioned that lovely word that he hasn't mentioned for ages, tapering. As soon as he mentioned tapering, Wall Street dropped like a stone. And as sometimes I said, you have to do your homework and do your research. And I think that was probably the catalyst that sent it down. So we'll go straight into what we've got out this morning. Obviously, it's those weird things of PMIs that come out 2 or 3 times a month. The 8:15, the 8:30, the 9 o'clock, and the 9:30. French, German, I think Spanish, Swiss, and UK all come out. Flash manufacturing PMIs. Be wary if they are slightly weak because obviously everyone will use the declines due to the COVID. And obviously that news has all come out. However, the UK figures out on CPI at 7 o'clock as such were slightly better than expected. Obviously at 12:30 we go straight into it. Remember, the US clocks have gone forward. The US core durable goods at 12:30. Again, the Fed speakers are out. 12:50. Barkin's out. 1:45. We have the US PMIs out. They're due slightly better, 59.5. I think last month was like 58.6. 2 o'clock, Powell and Yellen testified to the Senate, and they're slightly older than he did yesterday to the House. And you saw some of the questions they asked. The interesting thing yesterday when he was talking, that if you realised there was 5 people who spoke on the House yesterday, they were all Republicans, who were obviously anti-Biden and probably Yellen as well, and they were mentioning tax rises and everything else, which obviously was slightly bearish for the market. And I forget the person's name, the man with the lovely bow tie who came on, pushed the market, I think 50, 60 ticks down by mentioning tax hikes. We've got 2:30, we've got US crude inventories. I know not many of us trade oil. It's quite a dangerous contract, but the last, I think Friday and again yesterday, oil got hit, what, 4%? Yesterday, so that's to bear in mind at 2:30. 3 o'clock, we've got the EU consumer confidence out, followed at 3:40. Have you got that, Bianca? 3:40. Christine Lagarde speaking.
Yes, I've got that.
You've got that one. Very good. Yeah.
Open in front of me.
Yeah. So we're not sure what you're talking about, but then that's heads up and a good time, obviously, to come out at 3:40. 5:35, we had Fed Williams talking. 7 o'clock, we have the Fed Daily. Also, we have the US 5-year auction out, 61 billion out. I think that's after 4:30. I'll have a check. I'm not sure. I'll give Harry a shout on the discussion group. Obviously, overnight, the COVID rumours are coming out badly, and the increases in India and the Philippines haven't been too good. And obviously, Germany and France have widened the lockdown. I do think overnight, I think Holland have extended their lockdown until April the 20th, which obviously isn't good news. And obviously, Mark Rutte, I think that's how you pronounce it, has said the third wave, which obviously Boris Johnson mentioned yesterday, is becoming more and more visible, by the day. Okay, so we've all got that coming in. So again, we write down what we've got down. So when we trade, again, the last 2 days, we've had we've got 5 minutes to go. The market profile and indeed the price action in mainly the DAX has been very, very clear. Yeah, and we've gone through it a few times, and a few people were a bit greedy yesterday in the DAX. Because what happened yesterday, the FTSE went up obviously at 8 o'clock. It's quite clear, there's a bar there. But obviously in the DAX, there was a clear seller for the first 5 minutes. Yeah, not the first seconds, but I think 30 seconds into 8 o'clock, we saw the selling came in and the DAX drifted down 70, 80 ticks. A few of you took your scalp too early. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a scalp because, as we said before, one of the hardest trades of the day is your 8 a.m. trade because it's normally the first trade of the day, and we're always slightly hesitant not to lose money. And obviously, if you do have normally, if you have a good day, your first day gives you the platform to spring forward as such. So again, sometimes believe in the price action, and remember in the DAX recently, the price action normally has been worth at least probably 30 to 40 ticks. Monday, Tuesday, I think we probably could have got double that. I'm not saying you take the 80 ticks because it's not there, because again, the DAX flew back as well. To where we were at the 8 o'clock open about 10, 15 minutes later. And obviously the FTSE went even higher, did come back later in the afternoon. So again, on the opening, all the news that has come out, we are looking at the DAX already to be, let's have a look, we've got the DAX here to be, we 100 down the DAX, 0.74. Therefore, the people who are coming in at 8 o'clock overnight, yeah, because they don't trade their stocks, their stocks will be initiated during the times of 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. as such. So again, we're right on the German here. We're just below the value low as such. Where would we think the market would go? Obviously, 145 here. You know, if we expect stops, I'll have a quick look at the screen. Charlie normally tells me I should share the screen by now. It's still early in the morning, so apologies. Again, looking at the DAX, where we see the POC 156 was said the value high. All of those things in the value low could all be hit in the first 30 seconds of the DAX. Again, we're going to have to wait, I think, to see where the price action is. We might see some initial sell off, but also we might see some obviously investors thinking this DAX is fairly cheap to what's coming out. And remember, we do have the PMIs out. The German PMI out, I think, is at 830, so we have to be aware of that. So I think I'll wait for the prices. Again, if we're scalping, I think a few of us have to realise this. We keep we keep our hand on the mouse, so with a tighter stop. Yeah, it's the same thing. So we give a tighter stop in the DAX or FTSE. You may be saying 5 or 10 ticks. Therefore, you can take 30 or 40 ticks. If you're trading it and you realise that the view is fairly weak because of the COVID case and anything else, say for the DAX, you've probably got a 20 or 30 tick stop. You're looking to take 70, 80 ticks. So you're looking for a wider profit. There's no point having a 20 tick stop and a 20 tick profit. Like we said, you end up going nowhere. It's going to end up going round in circles the whole time. Yeah. So again, I'm going to keep quiet as we come in here and see. I'm going to look at the DAX and see where the DAX is. I'm going to put the candle up there, and I'm going to do what Bianca says. She likes it on 3 minutes, so she likes driving fast, I think. So anyway, we'll keep our eyes on here. Again, yesterday, the interesting thing, talking about it, the FTSE went up and the DAX came off. It was very clear that there was obviously a buyer in the FTSE on the opening and a seller in the DAX. So again, we go on to that. Also, at 2 o'clock, if we get the right link, we may have a Zoom for the Jay and Yellen shout at 2 o'clock. But it was fairly boring. It's just for most of you who are in there to understand certain words that they say can move the markets. As I said earlier on, Powell mentioned tapering. Here we go. There were DAX fairly clear there. That was just stops, I think, coming in at 8 o'clock. Remember, when we trade the stops in there, people put them in there. They want to sell at any price. And obviously, we saw that DAX drop, what, almost 20 ticks, yeah? Just on people. Stop. If when you put a stop in, you don't get a guaranteed price. All your order is to the exchanges. Can you sell me £1, £2, £10, £20, £500? And then your price will come flying back. So again, we did expect the selling coming on the news, and obviously that was quite fairly clear to see. The question you've got now, looking into it, the value low is where we see the stacks going any lower. So the same thing we're looking at our DAX, thinking, where do we take our profits? With 20 ticks on side, is that nice? If you're scalping, you still got your hand on the mouse, but in theory, we're still trying to sell this and keep our short going, because the POC, those of you who've done the POC with me, the letters will change. They're a bit slow this morning coming up, but in theory, there's no real reason at the moment to buy those shorts back. Does that make sense? Hopefully, some of you have gone short. Any of you who have gone long the DAX need to go to loopy loo land at the moment, because obviously there's been no retracement of such. In your scalp, you see it move up here. Then if you're short, you want to take your profit. But initially on that price action, the only place to be would have been to initiate a short. Did any of you manage to get short?
Yeah, I'm short, Neil. I'm like 20 points on side.
Yeah.
But it's like, where'd you take it?
Well, that's the biggest question you always say, how long's the piece of string? But mind you, we've got so many people saying they've gone short. Are we finally doing something right? Wow. Mind you, I'm just going to have a faint. Yeah.
On short and managed to pull out with a cheeky 2%. I didn't want to push it too far, but yeah.
I think the whole thing, while we come in, the same is exactly the same at 1:30 when the US opens. Wall Street, we expected 80 ticks to 100 ticks in the first 5-10 minutes. And again, the European exchanges have only been open for 2 minutes, and in theory, we're almost 40 ticks on side on the DAX. And this is the hardest thing of all, as Charlie just said. How far do you run that scalp? You have to believe in your price action. And
I'm melted again, Neil.
What? Say that again.
I'm melted again. I'm checking that again.
Yeah. So I mean, the same things that because it's your first trade, having any profit on it, just as long as you're green, is a massive propels you for a good day. And we know going through it. We got PMIs coming out. We got Barker speaking, durable goods at 12:30. Powell and Yellen talking at 2 o'clock. Lagarde speaking at 3:40. So it's great that most of us got short in it. So at the start of the day, our first profit of the day has been a plus. And again, the hardest thing of all is how far do you run that profit? Yeah, is it a scalp? Is it a trade? If you did it as a trade, we said all the news that came out was very bearish this morning. You got your 30-tick stop. You're probably thinking now, should I move my stop to break even? And in theory, I'd say probably do your multiples. Those of you who have done a one-to-one with us, we try and get you to trade multiples so you can get out half your trade and run the rest. And when you run the rest, that's when you tend to get your 80 ticks to 100 ticks, because you've already taken something off the table. So yeah, good 8 o'clock opening. Those of you who got your one-to-ones will be on this morning going through it, and I think we'll do the Powell and Yellen thing. Matt, are you there?
I am. I was just about to say, I have a key level at 14,530 on the DAX, and it's working beautifully.
The good news is that Matt has volunteered to do the morning Zoom tomorrow.
Oh.
So any of you who can't speak Irish, he will translate it to you, or actually Yanka might translate for him. Yeah. So I'm going to send Matt the link tomorrow. So yeah, so hopefully you'll get as an easier price action as we had today, because that's all I'd say is quite a nice armchair ride. But remember, most of you are coming on. We're going to try and get more of our members to do the price action Zoom, but also say what you see. Yeah, obviously Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday has been very, very clean into seeing the price action. However, last week was a dog's dinner because there was nothing there. So the same thing, if you don't trade because you don't see any price action, that is as important as trading, which I'm sure Matt and the rest of you will do it, will tell us in the future. Okay, good luck today if you're trading, and probably see you back at 2 o'clock.
Thank you,
Cheers,
Neil.
Neil. That was great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.